2026 meeting of the North Beach Planning Commission.
Good evening, Chairman. You do have a quorum.
Wonderful. We have two business items on the agenda tonight and 1 minute approval from the June 25th Planning Commission meeting. If we could take a minute just to review the minutes from June. I don't know if people have had a chance to review those. We essentially had one discussion issue on ADUs. And our discussion will be taken into account for revised regulations for North Beach that comply with the state. The floor is open, so if anyone would like to make any comments, edits.
Will we get another look at the draft?
I have, that was my assumption from just rereading the notes. It looks like a draft will be put together, and I'm assuming at a meeting, at our next meeting, we'd be able to review that.
I believe the town has asked for an extension. I don't know the status of that at this moment.
If there's no comments or edits for the minutes, we can, someone would like to propose a.
I'll propose approval of the June 25th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting minutes as written.
We get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. The first business item is case 2602, St. Anthony's Church, 8816 Chesapeake Avenue. We have some good notes here that we can review. It looks like an expansion of the church, particularly that fronts Chesapeake Avenue, to add bathrooms, social meeting area, and kind of changing the configuration to have two entrances on the side rather than in the middle. Public Works has commented on this, as well as planning and zoning. I don't see anything. Oops, let's see. Any large concerns from them. This is a category 2 review. Rick, any particular comments or highlights from you wanted to convey? These are great notes, but if there's anything, anything in particular you think is.
construction. They would handle bonding and stormwater management. COA Barrett has provided the critical area stuff that I need, so there's no concerns there.
Okay,
And I think the only other thing we looked at was that there was not going to be a change in the crosswalk. Correct. That'll stay where it is. So just
Okay.
just the front end just is being improved and adding some space on the inside. No additional seating.
okay.
Concerns of
Can-
concerns about that crosswalk. That's going to be a singular crosswalk into what was an entrance. And now the brickwork is going to be a continuous planter. The depth of that sidewalk is probably only 7 feet for the full congregation to come out of the sides, come around, come to the front, and then go in the crosswalk, as opposed to just coming out and going across and creating traffic in the streets without crosswalks or two crosswalks.
Hmm.
Does that look like it could be a potential problem?
I mean, there are two town planter boxes right in front that border the crosswalk. Just for information's sake.
That was also discussed with Public Works, and the way we looked at it was the way they come out now, everybody comes out all at once into one location. This is kind of going to slow down where they come out the sides, so it won't just be one mass 50, 60, 70 people all at one time. It'll kind of be broken up a little more. So we don't think there'll be any.
But essentially, the path of least resistance is coming out of the sides, under the porte cocheres, out of the weather. You got 2 curb cuts on either side, 2 curb cuts on the other side of the Chesapeake. So it almost looks like pathways for parishioners to just go across the street instead of then going back in the middle in that. Like I said, it's only about a 7-foot area. And so that was my concern, that potentially was not going to be adhered to and create pedestrian traffic problems. That was it with regard to that.
Yeah, I think the church has been pretty good with having people out there for the crosswalk and
Mhm.
directing their traffic, and the sheriff's department is also there during hours so that they kind of control the traffic flow as well. So we, from the town's perspective, Public Works and I didn't have any real concerns with it.
My only suggestion potentially would be if it was a problem that maybe the pedestrian crosswalk be widened and the islands be shortened, so you had a wider crosswalk there to accommodate more people coming out of both sides and joining in the middle, turning across the street.
But you're not gonna have. The size of the congregation isn't going to change because the doors are located in a different spot. You're still gonna have the same number of people coming out.
Yep, and the pathway is straight in. Now they'll have to come and make a decision to go left or right. And this area is, like I said, it's only about 7 feet wide there. So, okay, Tom, did you have something you want to say?
Yeah. I'm Tom Meyer. One of the design concepts and one of the reasons for doing this project was to begin to capture the congregation after services. That right now, that vestibule is only, at best, it's 10 by 10. So what happens is that 350 people come out that single exit and basically are greeted at the sidewalk. And what we're doing now is directing them to either side. But we've increased the size of the vestibule to almost 1,800 square feet, with the idea being that after mass is over, they could sell donuts, they could have, sell raffle tickets. People could be in there socializing. So the thought is that you're not going to have 350 people exiting at the same time. There's going to be some retention in that space, which they can't do right now. And that was the idea behind it. So that our thinking was that that even if you direct the people out the north and the south side underneath those porte cocheres, even though you weren't lined up with the existing exit, the numbers coming out, it's gonna be more graded than it is right now. So that was the thinking behind that.
The church where I grew up has somewhat similar setup. They've got the larger foyer, and they actually have 3 doors because they've got the big center door and then 2 on the side. And you'll get a lot of people going out the sides because they don't want to stop in the middle and talk to anybody. They just want to get out. So I think this gives an option for all of the wants and wishes and needs to be met.
Just come up. So I was looking at the sketches here and I guess, it's a category 2, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so normally we see a little more, I guess, all of it in one package. The commentary and notes were great, so I could follow along. Fairly familiar with this. It would be helpful if we, ID'd the sidewalk existing, and then you show sidewalk same, so that people aren't confused. My understanding is that central entrance is going away. You have 2 side entrances. Are those double doors? Are they? Again, I can't see that, so I'd like to see that. I think it's a great idea. It's the parish I go to, so I know how people gaggle up there, and and then they spill out all over the place because there's really nowhere for them to meet and greet or exit and greet. So I think it's a good flow pattern. I like Steve's idea. I don't know if we could shave those planters a little bit, it might be, but that's a curb cut and all that. So I know that adds expense, but if that's possible, that would, I think, help. But some more detail on what this is going to look like, so people aren't confused that there's still a central exit. It's now out both sides, which I guess also ties into the other center, the annex. There were some notes on here about, are we to disregard? There was a note about a grease trap and some other things. Is that for an additional expansion or?
We're not touching the kitchen.
Okay, so,
That's for the second,
okay,
yeah.
all right. So I just have the rendering. Okay.
That would be my only comment. Similar is the rendering. It's a little unclear where the sidewalk is relative to the building and the facade and the planter. I'm assuming it's a white area that comes across, correct? Okay.
Where is the men and women's restroom, confessional, cry room and storage? Is that like interior renovation?
It's all interior.
All interior
We're
renovation.
basically going to be taking off the front 20 feet of the existing building. And then coming back with an addition that's roughly 30 by 60. 10 feet of it, well, 9 feet of it will be new construction at the front of the building, but we're basically taking off that first day is going to be removed here. And one of the problems is that there are no toilet facilities in that church, that if someone needs to use it during services, they literally have to go up a side aisle and go into the hall. Which has become for the current pastor of a bone of contention. And so the idea was that, if we're going to embark upon something like this, why don't we make it as good as we possibly can, for the parishioners and for the pastor.
Rick, does that require any additional EDUs or anything with regard to plumbing?
It does not. EDUs for the church are based on seating and.
It's like this is
Yeah.
Looks good. I like it. All metal roof, same color metal roof.
It's kind of a.
Lots of new stained glass though. That'll look
Well,
nice.
stained glass actually existing.
Oh, is it behind the
It's there.
an opaque glass?
Exactly. I was told You have to retain that stained glass,
Yeah,
and do
okay.
everything you can to make it more visible from the street.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do.
So looking at the picture of the current church and looking at the drawing, am I right in thinking that the front of the church is going to come out to the edge of the planters and the top of where the steps are currently?
Yes.
Bottom of the steps, right?
Bottom of the steps? Okay. Are you gonna relocate that tree?
Uh,
It's so pretty in the spring with all those white blossoms that look like a dogwood.
is it in the planting? But,
Yeah, it's in the planting thing.
Oh, and the town,
in
the town plan?
Right.
No,
No, it's in a
no,
plan.
it's in the church
It's in the
planter.
church's planter.
Yeah.
We will replant it.
If you can.
We'll do everything we can. One of the things right now is that there are no gutters on that church. And so everything off of that runs off of the roof runs into a concrete culvert and goes directly to the street. And because the addition now goes out 8 feet on either side, we will probably be asked to address all of that runoff on site. So that, I think that's the idea, is that there would be collection boxes where our addition is. So we're not gonna put gutters on the existing church. We will have gutters on the addition, but everything will go to those collection boxes and then go to rain gardens or whatever the civil decides is the best way to handle it.
So what exactly are we doing? Are we just approving a concept, but not exactly a plan because we don't have, like Bill said, the,
Yeah, that
Sufficient
was
information.
my question for Rick. Little confused on what we have. This is enough for category 2.
So yeah, so you can approve the concept tonight, and then when they get the full civil done, they can come back to the final approval.
Okay. Just one last question. The area on the right seems to be a covered kind of portico. I'm assuming that might be used for drop off or pickup for,
The idea is that a hearse could pull up
Yeah.
or a bride could get out without being
Yeah.
exposed to the weather. That's
Okay.
the idea behind the.
All right.
Shares.
and there's enough space there to make it ADA compliant because it is raised a couple feet, right?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're gonna have to work that whole stormwater piece. there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
to relocate your cornerstone.
Yeah. It's like we will.
Maybe just a follow-up question, Rick, to you on what we would be approving tonight. So initial concept approval with a,
So the design is the architectural design, the location of where the addition's going. With those approvals, they then come back with the full civil. And eliminate those questions after.
okay. So if we were to approve, would we need to have language in there that it's contingent upon final approval? Or how do we?
For tonight, are we essentially approving the setback, the 0 setback? That's something that we could approve tonight. And that's based on essentially Neptune's having a 0 setback and being the comparative property on the same block.
Isn't there a residential in between Neptune's and the church?
That's that's not next to the church, that's next to it's a separate building. That's where the hall is.
Right,
Is-
but it's still the church property.
Is the existing building considered zero setback? I mean, they have a planter, but it's fairly substantial, so.
It's got the steps going down to the
It
side.
has steps, so I'm existing.
So without a dimension, what is let's just say the depth of the planter,
3 feet,
3 feet.
and then it's 5 feet in the center section. Because that center section with the stained glass is located, that recess is back 2 feet. So
Is
the planter
it
is
set back or set out?
set back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's where some better. Yeah, some more detail. Should be.
So do we consider the planting part of the building that requires approval of the setback or just the facade? Because it really is not zero. The building is not zero. And so it will be zero because of the planter.
That's what we're just talking about. The planter is 3 to 4 feet, so it's on that. I mean, would you say that, and we're guessing a little bit on this, but the current front facade of the building would be in the same place as proposed facade, considering that?
No, we're closer to the street with the new facade.
Okay, so the existing bed is, I'm guessing 6 feet or 8, so that'll slim down to 3 feet.
Correct.
So you're essentially be bringing the facade out 3 to 4 feet, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And that's a little unclear.
Well,
Or
maybe you
maybe,
can scale off, you shouldn't need a planner here.
Couldn't scale these drawings. Look like they got reduced on copier.
Well, that 10 sheets in the project now, I would have brought them by noon.
Yeah, they're fine. So why is a new sewer needed over on that side of the building if the new bathroom is going to be essentially at the new entrance?
Well, we're hoping to tie into existing sewer. But there should be sewer coming from the administration building and also from the restrooms in the hall. It'll be a question for the civil to figure out which makes the most sense. 'Cause I'm not sure.
So that's what's throwing me is all that, if we can go to the plan here. All that on the left side of the drawing that says new construction, new sewer, provided, new grease trap, alternate, all that. So that's really not part of this design.
No. Huh. That drawing actually comes from when we added on to the existing hall.
Okay, so there's no sewer there, new sewer there,
There's a sewer there now.
no new sewer, it
No.
says new. Okay, and no new construction,
Correct.
okay. So you're not showing new plumbing for the bathrooms on this drawing
Correct.
yet at this time? Okay. So that's what we'll want to see that information.
I think
I think we have enough for a concept and then we can
Mhm.
obviously want to incorporate the questions and answers that were forwarded with this. And it comes back in with the full site package. I think we could go. But the concept looks like it all fits and we're amenable to the zero setback. We're just gonna want to see kind of your site, Cat 2 has, you got to develop it. We need to see a little more. And I would also say just make sure you're highlighting what's existing, not to be touched, and what's, and I realize it's all condensed right now, so it looks a little bit busy. So you can segregate that for us.
There's no other comments. We can make a motion. Or maybe you, Bill, you had some comments. Incorporate.
Too late, it's too complicated. I'll make a motion to accept the concept proposed for the addition and vestibule and covered entries for 88 16 Chesapeake. Conditions would be that a complete category 2 site plan and incorporate the attached commentary and notes either in general notes or dimensions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Well,
Tom.
thank you. Looks good.
The second item on the agenda for business items is change in use, 9122 Bay Avenue. Yep. Yeah, this is a change in use for commercial. Just driving around the neighborhood here. Trying to. So from Rick's notes, it looks like one of the bigger issues might be the required grease trap. Property had, and this is Public Works. Property has a history of sewer issues related to poor drainage with inadequate grade of sewer lines under property that need to be corrected. Would require a water service upgrade.
Is the applicant on? No? But with regard to a grease trap, I suppose potentially there could be a variance request, depending on how they propose to cook their hot dogs from a 1,600 gallon to like a 30 or 40 gallon. It's a variance that can be requested according to our regs. County Health Department. So that would be my question, whether they intend to grill and require a full 1,600 gallon grease trap or use a different method that they could submit a request for a variance. Doesn't mean they'll get it.
They could attempt, I guess. The health department has recommendations. There's no real set. But I can say they have not allowed any in town that are less than 2,000 gallons. Vaughn Cheese was required to put in 2,000 gallon grease trap.
Wow.
Hook and Vine had a 1,500 gallon, and before they were allowed to open, they were made to put in a 500 gallon supplemental tank on top of that. We have been in contact with the health department and with Public Works, and they have not pushed it off on Public Works, but on Public Works recommendations based on some of the grade and some of the other drainage issues that have been in the area. The town is going to require a grease trap ground for that property in order to put any type of food establishment there that produces grease.
What is the issue with the fall rate to the main on Chesapeake or Bay? Chesapeake or Bay?
Bay,
On Bay.
this property fronts Bay Avenue.
Yeah, it does, but I mean, that's pretty. I thought maybe if it was going back to Chesapeake, you'd have a fall issue, but wouldn't seem like he would have one right there at Bay.
It is about an inch.
Really?
And the only place to put one here would be in the back next to the public parking lot, where there's a small apartment on the back of the building now is the only place they would have.
Can they share with the Bakest?
Not.
Gotta have their own.
Now, there are some other options that the health department may consider. There's ones we talked about previously for a previous business that wanted to come in that was looking at a building that had no property. The building encompassed the entire thing. So there was nowhere to put a 2,000 gallon in ground. They do have some now that the health department has approved 2 of in the county that are indoors, 250 gallons, and the port to clean them butts out the side of the building, and they're made to be cleaned out monthly as opposed to quarterly. So
They'd have to get rid of their whole side deck to do that because they're right up against the Bayview's property line. So just to be clear, so if the food shop is on Bay Avenue in the front of the building and there's no room to put a grease trap there, they have to go all the way to the back building and then come back and tie in Bay?
exactly the way the Bakers did.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
long
Bakers-
run.
Bakers is all the way in the back in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And so it goes back and then comes all the way back to the front.
And they can't tie in at Chesapeake?
It's a pump.
Was the applicant the owner? No, the applicant, I'm
Yeah.
assuming, is the renter. Okay, well that. Okay.
And it's an allowable use in the zone.
Mhm.
And so the only reason it's being brought to you is because the change in use then triggers parking and the other things that are required to be approved by planning commission.
What is the square footage? Is that in here anywhere?
I don't believe so.
Just becomes a bit more complicated when you have a renter and this potential amount of work that needs to be done.
Mhm.
Well, who's not the owner, unlike the Bakest, right? Who,
And nothing's required for them to operate the retail because it's existing.
Yeah, if they were to go in and operate a retail store, they wouldn't have to come before the planning commission.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which they intend to do, right?
I don't know.
I thought I saw the back end was going to be
So
retail.
there's 2 rental units there.
Yeah,
The front is where the candy store was, and then the middle unit is where the dog groomer previously was.
Mhm.
And then the 3rd unit in the back is where there was a small rental apartment.
and
with a boutique retail area in the rear portion of the premise,
Yeah, that would be the middle.
the middle of the
Middle.
overall, because the back is still what, an apartment, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, the boutique wouldn't, while it's a change in use, it wouldn't really require. I don't think there would be a drastic difference between that as far as parking requirements or foot traffic between that and a dog groomer.
You know whether that's a separate business, whether it's gonna have a separate, a separate entrance?
They're completely separate buildings.
No, this retail and the hot dog, are they going to be two separate businesses with separate entrances?
Yeah, well, the boutique, I believe, was scheduled to be in where the dog river used to be, so they're two completely separate units.
Okay, so down the side and then,
Yeah.
you know,
And if they did the interior grease trap, that little walkway that goes down the side, that port would have to be put in right there for the grease trap, and then
if they could do it, they'd have to demo the deck, put the grease trap in and rebuild the
they could
deck.
do it, the grease trap could go inside, just sits up against the wall, and then there's a port that sticks through the wall. That way, when like SJ Johnson or whoever they got to do the cleaning, they just attach the outside of the building. Sucks it clean, flushes it out,
Okay,
but they're done monthly as opposed to quarterly. So they did have some options, but there's not many. Like I said, the Calvert County's only approved 2 of them in the entire county.
But for our purview today, grease interceptor is not part of that. The poor drainage, I'm a little unclear if that does become our purview. And obviously parking or other issues that might change the use would be our purview.
Yeah, parking, hours of operation.
Yeah. But on the drainage issue, is that something we need to consider, or would
I
that
think
be?
that was something that Public Works would rectify when they dealt with the health department and the grease interceptor and the other utilities.
So for us, primarily parking, access, sidewalk, relationship with the other businesses, those types of things are probably the biggest. Right? It would be helpful if we had the square footage for the front. There was a noted 20 seat maximum. Is that for the one EDU? I noticed in your comments. I'm trying to get a sense of how many people are going to be there, seating.
20-seat max.
Okay. I really don't have a sense of how big
Can't-
that front.
I mean, it's
not that big.
it's still the same size as the old candy store, so if they were to put a counter in, it would be, and they don't even have a proposal for the
Yeah.
inside layout yet.
Okay.
so do you know, is it gonna be carry out only, or is it gonna have seating? Do you know?
I believe the idea was hot dogs, cotton candy, people come in, walk the boardwalk,
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
Same as Django's. Hot dogs?
On the application, under proposed use, it says gourmet hot dogs, no fryer. Does that have any impact on the grease
I
trap
think they
thing?
were hoping it would, but health department,
Doesn't,
no.
okay.
It's kind of like when the ice cream shop came and couldn't understand why they would need a grease trap, but
It's a little hard to do this without the applicant here to fill in. I mean, you're doing great. But without the applicant or somebody to speak on their behalf, we have a lot of questions that we really don't know the answers to.
I mean, just on a simplified basis, is their application doesn't have a lot, at least what we see for this application is not a lot of information here, whether it would just be a carry out or if they intend to have any seating there. I can't imagine that's more than 300 square feet.
Well, they could use, I mean, are they intending to use
The
the
front
exterior?
porch, yeah,
You know,
that's true. So all that would be good information. I mean-
it's till next month.
Chairman,
Yeah.
you all can continue the case until next month.
Could, I mean, on the face of it, it seems like a heavy lift for a small retail.
And I don't
So-
know if they are negotiating with the property owner.
Yeah,
I know that they're currently doing renovations to the property. They painted it, they repaired the outside of it.
Yeah.
but I don't know what other negotiations they've had. I'm not that
Mm.
involved with it.
Is this the same person that proposed the speakeasy?
It is not.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Kelly,
Also, just on this property, we approved the expansion of this property, right? Like a 3-level,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
And that must have died, right? That's been more than a year.
That property owner sold the property.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
didn't get the parking?
Just for informational purposes, for me, if they decided to do outdoor seating on the porch, would that count with their 20?
It would because that porch is their property.
Okay.
All the way out to the sidewalk?
So
Not-
that property butts up to the sidewalk.
Okay.
So the only time we don't count that seating is when it's public seating that's on one of our
Mhm.
public right of ways that the town has put in.
Mhm.
But on that porch would be counted towards that 20 feet.
So they could conceivably infill that?
You could, yeah. Are you looking at it? A lot of it's a
Can use
little flower bed, but you could expand that porch out and fit 20 people out there, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If the property owner wants to do that.
But 20 would be their max without having to purchase additional EDUs.
Yeah.
Which is not cheap either.
I think it would be helpful to defer until next month. And
Yeah. I mean, in terms of what's really under our purview, it's the type of business, occupancy, traffic flow, people flow, and that usage, the grease trap and other things,
Mhm.
that's not our business. But without, I think, yeah,
there's just not enough information.
True, but there would have to be a plan for that.
yeah,
In order to agree to a change of use, you're gonna show us that
yeah, I think that's,
you're gonna put in there what needs to happen. So
I think that's fair enough for,
it's a little bit light.
Yeah, so I would say I will let the applicant know that the need an interior layout, seating, parking plan,
yeah,
hours of operation, number of employees.
Mhm.
yeah, that would be helpful. This may just be a preliminary, they may not even have a lease yet, they're just, trying to get some sense of, get some feedback, so.
I think it's probably one of those situations where they don't want to sign a lease until they know they can do it, and then so it's
Yeah.
6 1 half dozen the other thing, but I have told the property owner that it is an allowable use. However, there are certain things that still need to be approved that are not approved out of my office that have to come before the planning commission, like the parking, the seating, those sort of things. So I think they're trying to work things out. Like I said, they are doing the renovations, the front of the building, if you've driven by, they look
They
dramatically
look
better.
nice.
Paint and the outside aesthetic, so
Okay.
I don't see any reason not to push it off the next month and then come back with a interior plan for what the layout would look like, and then a full parking recommendation from the applicant.
Okay, so no vote, no action from our end, just the recommendations to Rick. Is that, or do we have to formally reject? No.
Table it.
Defer?
Okay. So it sounds like someone would still need to make a motion to defer till next month with the conditions.
Mr. Chair, this is Karen Ruff. I would say that, yes, it's important that you make a motion to continue the matter to the next meeting for the purpose of allowing the applicant to come in and to answer the questions and address the issues you've identified.
Great, thank you for that.
I move that we defer. Let's see, what's the case number? Case 26-03 for 9122 Bay Avenue until our next meeting so that the applicant can be present and answer questions.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There are no more items on the agenda. Is there any other business?
Just a question? Comprehensive plan?
Comprehensive plan is with the state. I should receive comments back from the state within the next probably 30 days. I spoke with my outreach person yesterday. They are finalizing their comments. Believe it looks pretty good. They have actually asked me to come and be on a panel for comprehensive plans next month. So I'm looking forward to getting those comments back.
Nice. Thank you.
Fingers crossed.
If someone would like to make a motion to close the meeting?
Propose motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.